Two-time heavyweight champion George Foreman dies at age 76. Big George Foreman, one of the most influential and recognizable boxers of all time, died Friday, his family announced on his social media account. He was 76. Foreman, who captured an Olympic gold medal in 1968, was a two-time heavyweight champion and Hall of Fame boxer. He's perhaps best known for the historic Rumble in the Jungle bout with Muhammad Ali in 1974 in Zaire, a fight Foreman lost in an upset via 8th-round KO. It's arguably the most famous fight of all time, and the When We Were Kings film that chronicled the fight won an Oscar for Best Documentary Feature. Foreman made history yet again later in his career. He fought 5 more times after he lost the heavyweight championship to Ali at age 25, including a 5th-round TKO victory over Joe Frazier, whom he stopped in 2 rounds to first win the title, and a 5th-round KO of Ron Lyle in a classic slugfest. After that 5th fight at 28, Foreman shockingly announced his retirement and began a career as an ordained minister in his native Texas. Foreman was retired for 10 years. He returned to boxing in 1987 at age 38 and mounted arguably the most impressive sports comeback ever. First, Foreman padded his record with easy wins. One of them was a second-round knockout of Jerry Cooney. But then, in 1991, Foreman proved this comeback was for real when he pushed the great Evander Holyfield to the brink in a classic heavyweight title fight at age 42. Though he was unsuccessful in his bid to become a 2-time heavyweight champion, Foreman was undeterred. 5 fights later, after a loss to Tommy Morrison, Foreman accomplished the unthinkable. Down on the scorecards in another title fight, Foreman landed a 2-punch combination that laid Michael Moorer down for the count of 10 in 1994. At 45 years and 299 days old, Foreman was once again the heavyweight champion of the world, the oldest man to hold boxing's greatest prize, and also the oldest champion ever, a record that stood for 20 years. "It happened," Jim Lampley called on the HBO broadcast. "It happened." Foreman went on to have a successful career alongside Lampley as an HBO boxing analyst. But his greatest success outside the ring was yet to come. The same year Foreman defeated Moorer, he launched his eponymous grill, which went on to sell more than 100 million units worldwide. In 1999, he sold the commercial rights to the George Foreman grill for $138 million. Foreman's final fight came in November 1997, a majority decision loss to Shannon Briggs. He held his role with HBO as a ringside analyst for 12 years, ending in 2004. The Ring named Foreman the 9th greatest puncher of all time and, in 2002, one of the 25 best boxers of the past 80 years. In a statement, Top Rank called Foreman one of the biggest punchers and personalities the sport has ever seen. "George was a great friend to not only myself but to my entire family," Top Rank chairman Bob Arum said. "We've lost a family member and are absolutely devastated." Lampley, for his part, said Foreman's death was a massive loss and that he feels blessed and privileged to have known him. "Tonight I am flooded with tears after learning of the death of my dear friend and broadcast partner George Foreman. I loved him," Lampley said in a statement. "He was a great fighter and a far, far greater human being. Every great thing that ever happened to him, and there were many extraordinary blessings, was richly deserved. My thoughts and prayers tonight are with his family and his friends and his congregation." A frustrated Jai Opetaia will have to wait to unify his world boxing title belts, but he has pledged not to underestimate his next opponent in what the Australian has labeled a stay-busy fight. IBF and the Ring cruiserweight champion Opetaia, 27-0, Australia's current pound-for-pound number 1, will face unbeaten Italian Claudio Squeo, 17-0, on May 13 on the Gold Coast. The voluntary defense, confirmed on Friday AEDT, comes after Opetaia's camp had pushed for a blockbuster unification bout with star Mexican Gilberto Zurda Ramirez. Ramirez holds the WBA and WBO straps and Opetaia has been desperate to fight for them, having been unable to secure any unification bouts since first winning his titles 3 years ago. The Italian is ranked by the IBF at number 14 in the cruiserweight standings and does not feature in the Ring's top 10. "It's bull. The best should be fighting the best," Opetaia told DAZN after his Squeo bout was confirmed. "I've got 2 belts, Ramirez has got 2 belts, I want to push for this fight. It just doesn't make sense to me why it's not getting over the line. The only reason to me would be he's ducking. We're really pushing for these unification fights, but I can only do so much. This is another stay busy fight which I'm not taking lightly. I'm chasing Zerto. My eyes are locked on them, unification fights. Now this guy's in the way and we've got to remove him. Petea made a huge statement in his last defense, brutally knocking out New Zealand challenger David Nyika in the 4th round on the Gold Coast. Jaya Petea left stands by as the referee counts out David Nyika. Olympic bronze medalist Nyika had taken the fight on 3 weeks' notice after mandatory challenger Hussein Sinkera withdrew with an ankle injury. Petea, 29, shocked champion Mary's Breedis to first win the belts in 2022, despite finishing the fight with his jaw broken in 2 places. He has fought just 5 times since, including a rematch with Breedis, injuries and negotiation breakdowns contributing to deny the Australian the big-time bouts he desires. Promoter Eddie Hearn is optimistic they will secure that fight this year, with Ramirez likely to fulfill his mandatory WBA defense against Uniel Dorticos first. But there are ways around it, fighting the mandatory opponent, and I just don't know if they want to roll the dice against Petea, he said of Ramirez's caution. We don't want to keep treading water, but it's down to the other fighters to want to get in the ring with him. We know the big fights are coming and the events on the Gold Coast are wild.